IT enthusiasts. It's Friday. We made it. We made it to Friday. Everybody take a big deep breath. We did it. The weekend is almost here, but before we get to the weekend, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday, potentially during your lunch hour, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. My name is Patricia. I work in the social media team here at MyComputerCareer, and today we have an incredible episode that I am so excited to chat with you, Jason, about, because this is one of our favorite things. We love talking about student success. Today's guest is certainly no exception to this rule. I am so happy to introduce Air Force veteran and Cyber Warrior Program grad, Jason Tisone, to the broadcast. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. You're going to share a little bit about your experience through the Cyber Warrior Program, which is arguably our most intense program here at MyComputerCareer. So I'm sure people are going to be very eager to hear about your experience and what we're about to do next. So if you're in the program or thinking about enrolling, I think you'll get a lot out of this chat. Luke says you got this.
I see that. Thanks, Luke. He's from my class. So
I love that. I love it. Awesome. Okay. So Air Force veteran, David says, thank you so much, David, for popping in. He was also giving you some praise on LinkedIn as well. So
I saw that. Yeah. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support from everybody.
Yeah, of course. Air Force veteran for 11 years in Cyber Warrior Program graduate. 11 years. Thank you so much for your service. That is also no feat. I mean, no easy feat. That is amazing. All right.
Had its challenges for sure.
Of course, I bet. We also have your LinkedIn profile here, which I'm sure we will share periodically. Aaron is in the comments. If you guys have any questions for Jason or any more praise, please put them in the comments. We always appreciate seeing those. And again, any questions about our Cyber Warrior program as well, please put those in the comments as well. We'd love to chat with you about it, but we do have Jason's LinkedIn profile. Let's go ahead and dive right in, shall we? Let's go ahead and get into this.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's talk about your journey for a little bit. Where were you? I know we've talked about the Air Force a little bit already, but where were you before enrolling at MyComputerCareer? And what led you to take that leap in joining this program?
Well, so last April is when I separated from the Air Force. I did end up doing a skill bridge program, attempting to go through electrician school. That was something I was interested in doing. About halfway through, though, I realized that the work that it would require me to do, my body wouldn't be able to handle it. You know, I've been put through the ringer during my time. So I had to take a step back and just decide that it's not for me. It's not worth putting my body through more stress when I don't need to. So I kind of just took some time off to get my mind right, get my nervous system reset from being in the military, you know, try to slow things down. Did a lot of self-development and work on myself. It was about November, December timeframe when I remembered before the military, I was actually enrolled to go to the University of Arizona for a computer science degree. And that's kind of what I wanted to do again. As a kid, I got to play with computers a lot, and I loved doing like just basic troubleshooting, figuring out how to do router stuff. I was always helping my parents with their computers, and I was just really interested in like computers in general. So one day I did a Google search, and I think MyCC was like the second or third hit on Google, and I saw the CWP, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And I saw it's for veterans. So I sent my information out, and like I think the next day, somebody from the admissions office had called me and told me about the program, and it just sounded really good. So with that, you know, and before the military, doing computer science, and now I'm like, okay, well, let's do IT.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much how I got enrolled. It's like, may as well just make a career of what I like to do.
Amazing. Yeah, don't we all love being the person in the household that can always reset the passwords, unplug, plug it back in? Like, we always got that one person in the family. Love that. So you did have a little bit of interest in IT before enrolling at MyComputerCareer. I do love that. And you were in, again, the Cyber Warrior program, which is no easy feat. That is our most difficult program, arguably our most difficult program. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your experience in the program and what those 12 weeks were like?
Sure, yeah. So those 12 weeks, like you were saying, it's a tough program. You're getting a lot of information thrown at you very rapidly. I do like, overall, it was a positive experience. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like I loved it. It had its ups and downs for sure, but at the end of the day, I mean, the ability to get certifications in IT after having just minimal knowledge in 12 weeks is pretty incredible, actually. I mean, there's people who were coming into the class who didn't really have any experience, but they were also able to get certified.
Mm.
So it doesn't matter your experience level, whether you know nothing or know more than the average person. 12 weeks for all the certs that we got, I mean, it was incredible. I really enjoyed it. Um, the fact that it's for veterans too, that really helped things, I think, for a lot of people, just because we are all veterans in there. We know, like, we all suffered in the military together, so let's go ahead and suffer through 12 weeks of this together. So we had that camaraderie, like we got to, joke around and just help each other stay focused and positive. And it was actually really cool to see all these veterans. I mean, I think my cohort had 39, 40 of us. So, I mean, it was really cool.
Wow. That's a
Um,
good size group.
yeah, I mean, so it was challenging. I will say that it was challenging. There were times where it was just a lot, and I felt like maybe it's too much. But um, staying focused was really important. There was times where I'm just like, I don't know if this is for me right now, but I just kind of, you gotta stay focused. And of course, the peers in the class, they all help you with that. Um, Study fatigue was a big one. Um,
Yeah.
there was times that I was like, I kind of fell behind. I think in Net Plus, I fell a little bit behind, and I was trying to like get caught back up, and I ended up stressing myself out, and I ended up reaching out to a couple of people in the class, and we did a group study session, and that really helped. And we started doing those more often. So realizing that I don't need to study by myself, I can actually use my peers to help me study and get through whatever I'm having trouble with. It was a really, really nice thing, and I appreciate them for that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, overall, Jerry, our instructor Jerry, he was phenomenal. He was very invested in our success. He is very invested in our success. He'd had 10 plus years of IT experience, and he was able to use that as an instructor to take some of the concepts that we were learning in class and make it make sense to us. I mean, because you can look at a PowerPoint slide all day, but it's like, okay, what exactly am I supposed to be learning here? But he was able to seamlessly take what's on a slide and like, oh, okay, once upon a time I did this, or this is what it more looks like. He broke it down to like the layman's terms. Um, he was just really, I loved him as an instructor. He's a good guy, and I'm glad that we got him as an instructor because I think he was crucial to all of our success as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he went outside of his scope of responsibility a few times. The VA ended up having a hiccup with a bunch of us where payments weren't going through correctly, and there's some people who had issues with that, and he didn't have to, but he went upstairs himself and was like, "Hey, what's going on with these guys?"
Yeah.
You know. So he was really looking out for us. He wanted us to be taken care of both in and out of class, and I really love that.
That's great. I love hearing those instructor stories like that because they do care. They do. I mean, a lot of the times too, when people think of schooling, they have like maybe some bad experience from high school where the teacher didn't really care, too many
Hmm.
students to juggle, but every story I've heard about our instructors is just they are there for you. They will help you whenever you need it, if you need it.
For sure. Yeah, there's several times that me personally that he took me into a breakout room in Zoom just to like go over something that I was struggling with, and he did that for everybody. Like in the instructor team too, Jason Pollock and Salo. His last name's escaping me right now, but they would also pull students into one-on-ones, and like just the whole team cared about our success.
No, I love that. Well, not to continue on the tricky spots topic here, but I do want to drive home because I think some people would really love to hear it, especially if they're going through our Cyber Warrior program. You know, how did you navigate some of those tricky spots? I know you said you leaned heavily on your fellow students. There was a lot of times where, you just tell me a little bit more about that if you didn't already mention it.
So I did talk a little bit about struggling with Net Plus. I mean, that one I've never studied so hard for an exam in my life. I don't know what was going on with me at that time, but I was just over stimulated, over stressed between life and school. There was a lot going on, but really grasping the topics inside of Net Plus was a big struggle for me. And I remember like it was the night before the exam, and I'm a big ball of stress, and I don't think I've been that stressed out for school ever.
Yeah.
Um, So I remember reaching out like to David Calkins in chat and a few others, and we did a study session over Net Plus the day before the exam. I think we were up to like 2 a.m. in Discord, just really drilling. We're drilling the measure ups, drilling Quizlets, drilling whatever we could find. Um, we were bringing, I forget how many people were in that study session. It was a lot. There was quite a few people in that study session, but yeah, 2 in the morning is what we were. Um, and I ended up
I'll do
passing the
it.
exam. Like I went to the exam thinking like, there's no way I'm going to pass this. I'm still like kind of stressed out
Mm.
about passing it on the first go. Um, but no, really leaning on them was a huge help. Even the instructors too. I remember I talked to Jerry about it the same day earlier in class. I'm like, man, I'm so stressed. I don't know if I'm gonna like. I don't know what it was about Net Plus, but it almost got me. It almost got me.
Yeah.
But between my friends, my peers, the classmates, and the instructors, just leaning on them for the support, it got me through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That I'm not a good test taker. I hate taking tests. So glad I
Yeah,
don't have to do that again.
I don't mind tests, but there was that stress. The military mindset. It's hard to get rid of, right? In the military, there is no failure. Like there's no option for failure. It's you have to get it done. So
Right.
shifting to that mindset of like it's okay to fail, that was really tough. I think that's where a lot of the anxiety came from as well. It was like if I fail this, then I'm letting myself down. I'm letting my family down. There was a whole lot of burden I was placing on myself for no reason. I mean, not for no reason. There is a reason, but it was unfounded in that moment. Getting out of that military mindset was really like difficult. But like I said, through helping my peers helping me, like yeah, like I was able to get out of that pretty easily. No, okay,
Yeah.
I say easily, but that was like after the fact.
Right, yeah, in
Um,
hindsight, you're like, "Oh, that wasn't too bad." Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you get 3 attempts per exam too. So it's like if the first one, if you fail it, it's no big deal. I mean, I failed 1102 on my first try, and I remember beating myself up for that one. I mean, I didn't study for it. I think that didn't help coming up with a failure into a test that I wasn't really feeling prepared for. There's a lot that just came into it, but yeah, I failed 1102 on my first try, and then a week later, I took it again and passed. Um,
Nice.
so
A
after
week
that
later? That
happened,
was the turnaround? Is a week later?
yeah, a
Wow.
week later, I was really close. I mean, I think I was like 2 questions, 3 questions off the first time. So that was even more like a punch in the gut too, is like just to be that close and still fail. Um, but yeah, after like realized that there's a couple people in class, like Sequandric, he put it to me real blunt. Um, just don't worry about the first test. Just treat it like a practice. It doesn't matter. You get 3 attempts. Like,
Right.
and of course, with the help of David and everybody else in the class, like, okay, if I fail it, fine, it's fine. Like, whatever. There's another attempt, and then there's another attempt. So
Yeah, it's still I mean, it's still not easy. I have a horrible test anxiety, so I would probably have to lean on all 3 of those. Yes, sharing resources was huge for David as well. Yeah,
definitely,
no way you could get through this alone. I don't doubt it. And there's 2 things you said there that I really wanna touch on. Putting a pin in military mindset. But right now, I want to talk about life and school. You mentioned that in my next question. That fits perfectly into my next question. You know, talked about how this is a difficult program. How did you balance your studies with your life commitments? What was that like at all? Was it tricky? Were there times where it was tricky?
a few times it was tricky. I can't remember if it was 1102 or the beginning of Net Plus, but my kids, both of them, ended up getting sick, and I had to keep them home from daycare. And they're 2 and 5, so you can only imagine the chaos that they would create while I'm trying to focus on class.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, we're adults and we have lives, and the instructor team was really understanding of that. I mean, there were several times I had to tell Jerry, "Hey, man, I got to step away for a little bit and take care of this," and it's just no problem, no problem, man. Take care of what you got to take care of. So like just the fact that the instructor team treated us like the adults that we are and allowed us to, I mean, we have a real life. Like, yeah, we're in school to do this. And of course there's, attendance constraints, but if something comes up and we have to take care of it, go take care of it. So, I mean, that was really helpful from them to just be so understanding and allow us to step away as needed. And then the structure of the class itself, the first half of the day from 9 a.m. to 1 it's all lecture.
Mm.
Um, and then and after lunch in the afternoons, it's self-study time. Like, you go through the course modules, you go through the in-class labs, you go through the Skillsoft videos. So there's ample time provided to you at the end of the last half of every day. That's your time to do your work.
Mm.
So rarely did I actually have any homework. So once 6 o'clock hit, we clocked out. That was it. I mean, for the rest of the night, it was mine. I could go be with my kids, or I could go just chill by myself. So it wasn't as tricky as I thought it was going to be in that regard. Like if you have kids, if you have a job, I mean, I think there was one guy, I forget, Trey, I think maybe was his name. I think he had a job that he would go to after class. So even with having a job, he was still able to do school. And the instructor teams they were really willing to work with us, and it made balancing everything a lot easier.
Well, that perfectly answers my next question, which was, we talked about the instructors a couple times. What role did your instructors play in helping you gain the knowledge and complete the program? So we touched on that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're getting a bunch of shout outs too in the comments about the instructors as well. So I love that. But I do want to circle back to the military mindset that you were mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
How did your experience serving 11 years in the Air Force assist you in the Cyber Warrior program?
There's so many ways. I mean, I wrote down a little list here for me to reference, and then I could
Go ahead.
go on all day about like the different ways the military prepared me for this course. And I'm sure people in the chat will, they'll echo anything I say, and provide anything I haven't said. But I mean, the biggest one is discipline. I mean, that's the biggest and obvious one is discipline from the day one in the military, where discipline's pounded into our head. Respect for your peers, your classmates, your teachers, that helped. There's stress management, a lot of stress management. I mean, it got to the point where it became too much for me. Yeah, it did, but with my peers, they helped me manage that stress with the same tools that we would use while we were in. So just those basic ones off the rip, like you're used to the structure, you're used to being told when to be in a certain spot. You're used to told when to go, okay, go on break, go on 10-minute break, go on a 15-minute break. Okay, now it's lunchtime. Just having that structure laid out ahead of time. And you could even see the days they're already like at the beginning of the course, you can go through every day and see what's coming up. So like the schedule, it's just stuff you're used to. But as for the course material itself, I mean, a lot of us, we have a security mindset, like we have to. A lot of us protect critical critical assets or people that we need to protect. So the security mindset was huge when it came to Sec Plus. I mean, a lot of the concepts were already stuff that we are all familiar with, like man traps or physical security barriers, camera systems, things like that. Like we all know how to do all that already. The database exposure, a lot of us are used to using like ticketing systems or asset tracking systems. A lot of us use Teams, we use VoIP, shoot incident response. Like if something goes wrong, let's respond to it. There's just so much that translated from the military over to this course, specifically for cybersecurity.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are saying in the comments, yes, absolutely. And then time management was mentioned as well, which you touched on a little bit. Yeah, that's because you see a lot of articles about how veterans are great for cybersecurity roles because of all those things that you mentioned.
For sure.
So love that. Thank you. Let's talk about certs a little bit more. We've mentioned a couple here. Which ones did you earn? And did you have a favorite where you loved learning about it? You felt prepared for the test, or however you want to slice it. Was there just a cert that you loved learning about?
So I did end up earning all of the certs, A plus, Net plus, Site plus, and CISA plus the stackables that come with all of those. And this is going to sound really funny, but Net plus, even though it stressed me out the most, but I loved learning about it the most. The IP structure, the IP addressing structure, IPv4, subnetting, learning about the OSI model, different topologies, all of like learning how, because I mean, I had a basic understanding of how computers work, but I've never really got to figure out like how does the internet actually work? How do I click a button over here and you can see it over there? So learning about how data is actually transmitted and routed through the internet and gets to go to somebody else's device, it was really cool. But the subnetting for sure, it was my favorite part of that class. Jerry actually, when he introduced the subnetting course, I think it was like day 3 or day 4, he ended up pulling up a website that lets you practice with subnetting. It'll shoot you out a random IP address with a different CIDR notation. It could be as low as 9 or it could be up to 27. And it's got little fields for you to fill out your broadcast network, your your first host, your last host, and then of course the very it was a really helpful website, and I would drill it for hours just trying to figure out like, okay, let's figure out the best way to do this. And it got to a point where I could get it done really quick. And I think just numbers. I think the numbers is why it attracted me, because I've just always been good with numbers. Um, was I prepared for the test? I didn't feel like I was. I mean, I passed it somehow. But Net Plus, it was my favorite, and it was also the one that kicked me down really good. So it was a love-hate relationship with that one.
Sorry, I started like you were talking, and I started giggling at what David said. He understood subnetting instantaneously, unlike everyone else. What a jerk. Numbers are not my friend. When I was in school, if you had me write an essay, got it. How many pages does it need to be? 2 plus 2, I'd be hung up for hours. I just can't. Math is not my friend. Math is not my friend at all.
I guess that helped me out a lot, because I mean, just math is I don't know, my brain's just mathematical by nature. So when we got to that part, I'm like, oh, I got this.
I'm jealous. Well, that's actually, we get that question a lot. Actually, people are nervous about, being involved in any IT program, or because they're nervous about how much math they're going to have to do. But, we tell people it's really not that much. Like, it's not.
It's
I mean,
not,
can you speak
no.
on that? Even though you're proficient in math, can you speak on that a little bit? Like, how much math is included in this program? This is a question on the fly. I apologize, but
Yeah, no problem. I remember it was like day 1 or 2. Like there was a couple people in there that like, I'm sure they were joking, but like they said if there's any math in this course, I'm out. Like I don't want to do this. I'm not going to be here for it. And Jerry really quickly kind of just hit it home. Like there's not that much. Like if you can do basic addition, subtraction, a little bit of multiplying here and there, like there really wasn't that much math at all. Learning how to read binary was probably as mathy as it got. I mean, just learning the different zeros and ones and what they equal to. Yeah, if you can add numbers, then you're fine. That's it. That's all you need to do. You can use a calculator. It's okay. But you don't need to know complex college level algebra or trigonometry or anything like that. It's like if you can add numbers together or use a calculator, you're fine.
I was joking about this with my dad the other day too, because my dad's an accountant, so he speaks, numbers fluently, and he was joking with my husband that like Patricia for some reason couldn't figure out like basic math, but for some reason trig, like some of the higher level stuff, for some reason she would get it. Listen, okay, so you heard it here first, folks. Adding and subtracting, and you can use a calculator. You'll be good. If you're freaked out like me, use Neil. If you're freaked out about math like I am, have no fear.
No, it was a very low threat for math.
I don't think it was. I wouldn't have been kidding. Day 2, if there's math, I'm leaving. All right. So let's talk about some memorable moments in the program. We've talked about how short this is, but I'm sure while you're going through it, it didn't actually feel that short, unless it was like one of those blink of an eye type things. Let's talk about some memorable moments in the program, or a proudest moment, if you will.
I can give you a few. I mean, just going through the course itself is pretty memorable. I mean, meeting everybody that I met, that's huge. I mean, we're all of the same cut from the same cloth, so we understand each other. We speak the same language, and it was just really nice to have that in the classroom environment, to where it's like I'm not the only veteran here, so I gotta watch what I say, or no one's gonna understand whatever is going on in my head. So just off the rip, the camaraderie was very memorable, and I actually really admire that. I mean, David Calkins actually in the chat, he started a Discord server for us.
Nice.
And he got me into it pretty early on. I mean, there's at the beginning, there was only like maybe 6 of us. And then we started sharing resources back and forth. And then we finally like, the class would benefit from this. So we started shooting the Discord link out over and over, like over the course of weeks. And over time, slowly, we got most of the class inside the server. So just seeing everybody sharing their resources, their notes, and, different websites that they've been through, YouTube videos to help break down concepts even better. Just everyone helping each other was really cool, and I'm proud to be a part of that. My actual proudest moment, though, is I ended up coding 2 different Discord bots for the server so that people could use them to study.
Wow.
In Sec Plus, I used Python to make just a basic bot that could take questions from different materials, provide kind of like a multiple choice exam environment, It'll give you a question and then the answers that are possible, and then you can react with an emoji in Discord to put your answer in. And it would track who put what emoji in and then tell you if you're right or wrong. Sec Plus, it was really basic. It was hosted locally on my computer, so if I wasn't on my computer, people couldn't use it. Then when CISA came around, I ended up getting deeper in the weeds with it, and I wanted it to be better than Sec Plus bot. And I spent about a week. Actually, there was times like during class I just wasn't paying attention, and I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but
Listen, you
I was
wouldn't be
re-
the first.
I was really focused on getting this bot as like as good as it could be, and I had so many hiccups and so many frustrations. I actually made a channel inside of the server called Jason's Rage Room, where every time the bot would break, I'd go in there and just rant about it. And some people got some humor out of that. But funny enough, a day or two before the exam for everybody, I finally got the bot to work, and it was stable. And I mean, it was working the entire time, but it would break randomly. So it just finally at the end of the course is like it's finally good. It's good,
No,
but now nobody needs it because we're
nobody needs
we're
it.
we're,
Yep.
we're done. But yeah, I think that was my proudest moment. Is like in the middle of this course, I decided randomly like, hey, it's a good idea to learn Python right now. I don't need to, but I'm going to do it. And I don't know. I think I started it out of boredom first, and then when I realized how challenging it was and that it was kind of kicking my butt, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to beat this.
Yeah.
So that's my proudest moment, I think.
Well, remind me to hire you for my Discord help because I love I love Discord, but my God, it's the most challenging. It's the most challenging.
I love Discord too, and you know what? I'm cheap.
I'll write that down. I'll write that down. Um, yeah, I quiz bots were huge. Yeah, David's saying over here on LinkedIn. Wow, look at David with the stats.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah, out of the people who used it, yeah, those numbers pretty accurate.
Cool. Huh. Love that. Well, let's dive into your next chapter for a little bit, shall we?
Sure.
Graduated from a difficult program.
Mm-hmm.
What are you planning to do next? I'm sure it's not going to be Discord for life.
Oh, definitely not. No, I'm planning on starting my career.
Yes.
Right now, after class ended last week, I did celebrate, and I gave myself some time to just unwind again, kind of like I did when I left the military. It would have been great to go from the class to jumping right into a job, but I think I need some time to decompress from learning everything because it's a lot. It was a lot of information. But I don't want to take too much time, so I've already started applying to jobs. Um, I'm
Nice.
hoping to get into. I think I've applied for a threat analyst role, security analyst, and network operations center technician so far. Those are kind of the areas I'm looking to get into the most, is like anything network related or analysis related. But I'm also weighing my options for continuing my education. NGT Academy, David has provided me their information, where I can go through them to get more certifications. And then once I'm done with that program, I can actually go to WGU and have, I think he said 90 credit hours knocked out automatically for a bachelor's. So like almost done essentially. So I'm also wanting to do that on the side. Definitely start working, but also continue the education.
Yeah, as you should. I mean, we talk about upskilling all the time here. Yeah, hashtag never stop learning. Talk about that all the time here because the IT industry is just growing and growing and growing. Upskilling is huge. Definitely.
For sure.
Let's talk a little bit about career services because you're at a very interesting point here in the program. We've talked to a lot of people who are graduates of the program, in the midst of the program, but I think you're at a nice sweet spot here to really talk about how, if at all, you're leaning on career services, because something that My Computer Career does that is remarkable is we have a career services team that is here for you for life. So if you graduated from My Computer Career years ago, you could still reach out to our career services team and chat with them and have them assist you in updating that resume, that LinkedIn page, whatever, what have you, and finding that next role, right? How are they assisting you if you are talking to them within your transition to your career? What's that like right now?
Right now, I am still in contact with the career services representative that was assigned to me in class. She has applied me to, I want to say, 4 or 5 different jobs, like with my resume.
Nice.
And she reaches out and she lets me know whenever she does that. I think actually yesterday she was the one who sent me the network operations center role, and I looked into it, and it's not too far away. It's in Morrisville, North Carolina, which is about an hour away from me. So I mean, that's not a hard relocation if I do end up, landing that position. So she's looking in the area, and she's taking what I've told her, like I'm looking for, and she is looking for roles in that general area of what I'm looking for.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm near a town called Mooresville with an E. So anytime I'm over in Raleigh and people say Morrisville, I'm always like, that's not close. It's Morrisville with an I. Got it. Got it. All right. Last question. This is a big one. Any advice for somebody out there considering enrolling at MyComputerCareer? Not necessarily, you can talk about the Cyber Warrior program specifically if you'd like to, but just MyComputerCareer in general. Any advice?
I mean, I think I'll primarily focus on the program I went through. I don't know too much about the other programs that MyCC offers, but if you're thinking about doing it, just do it. Just do it. Especially with the Cyber Warrior program. If you are able to take in a lot of information at once and sort through it, figure out what's important, what's not important, what you need to know, what you don't need to know. If you can put your nose to the grindstone and just dedicate your time to getting the work done, which if you're prior military, then you're used to doing that already. Just do it. I mean, this program that I went through, like it was a great value realistically. The cost of the program for the amount of information and certifications I got out of it compared to other programs out there, it was more bang for your buck, honestly. It was cheaper than some other programs and it gave me more. So like it was like 22,000, I think was the tuition cost. And at the end of 12 weeks, I have 7 certifications right now. That's insane, especially when some of the certifications would take normally in a different program anywhere from months to maybe a year. So in 12 weeks for the cost of the program to get what I got out of it, definitely do it. And especially if you have a passion for IT or computers or networking or whatever, anything like that, if you just have a passion for IT in general, do it for sure. I'm sure the other programs that MyComputerCareer offers are the same as this one, or no, not the same, but similar as far as like structure. I don't know if they're as accelerated as this one was, but if you're a veteran, especially looking at this program, just do it.
Love that. Love that. I do have an additional question, and we probably touched on it just slightly a little bit, but you hit something that I do want to focus on because it is another one of our most frequently asked questions, which is people, blown away by the idea that you can learn as much as you can in those 7 certifications that you talked about in just those 12 weeks time. How prepared did you feel at the end of those 12 weeks? Was that just, we talked at the very beginning how it was a lot of information, but for those out there who are a little confused by this 12 weeks thing, do you have any advice on that, how feasible that is?
It's feasible. I mean, the course material you get given to you in class, it's good material. I would still recommend though going outside of class, going to different sources, going to YouTube to watch different content creators in their videos, going to Quizlet if you need to. If you're a flashcard learner, go to Quizlet. There's a bunch out there. I mean, David Calkins actually made a bunch of Quizlets for CISA. And he shared those linked with us, so they're on Quizlet somewhere. But if you're a flashcard learner, definitely hit those up. There's different sources outside of class that you can definitely use. I mean, the class, I wish it was more. What's the word I'm looking for? They do give us the study guides, like the actual official CompTIA study guides. We do get those given to us, and it sits in the day 1 module. I think it'd be a little bit better if they were off to the side, like maybe in the files section of Canvas, because we didn't figure out that those were actually there until Sec Plus. And we're like, wait, we've had this available to us this whole time. So the information given to you, it's enough. It's there, but definitely do your own stuff outside of class. I mean, go to websites like Try Hack Me, for example. There's plenty of stuff you can do on that website that's outside of class that really reinforces what you are learning, though. It's feasible. It's feasible. 12 weeks sounds like a lot. Sounds hard. It was. It's challenging. Don't get me wrong. But as long as you have a good support system, like we did, we had a Discord server. If you utilize other sources, nothing that's against CompTIA rules, but YouTube was a huge help for a lot of people, like Professor Messer videos. Watching his videos helped a lot of people understand concepts that they weren't quite grasping. It's doable. If you, like I said, if you want to put your nose to the grindstone and get it done, you'll figure out a way to get it done.
Amazing. Thank you for that question or for answering that on the fly there. But I really wanted to hit on it because, yeah, that is one of our most frequently asked questions or comments where people are like, no way. Yeah, progressive learning method for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Block of instruction builds upon the previous block. Sometimes LinkedIn doesn't show us the names, so I apologize, LinkedIn user, but thank you for your comment. 12 weeks went by really fast. Yeah, I can imagine. There's some advice as well.
Oh, yeah. Frank said VRNE. Yeah, VRNE, you can use VRNE for this. GI Bill will cover it, but VRNE will definitely cover it as well. So if you are a disabled veteran with 20% or more, you do qualify for that.
Yep. All right. I think that's all the questions I had. Was there anything else that you wanted to include before we hopped off here?
Yeah, I'm just now looking through the chat to see what other questions there are. Is it just called Quizbot? Christopher Jennings asked. I think you're. Oh yeah, I called mine Quizbot. It's just a Quizbot inside our server actually.
Yeah, it looks like that's gonna be true. I love that. Cool. Oh yeah, John. Spoon-fed this ADHD adult the information in every way you could learn. Yeah, video reading, live lecture, and we had a psychologist. It's amazing. There's no way you will not learn. Yeah. Yeah, the ADHD.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely spoon-fed for sure. I mean, like I said, you do need to spend your own time getting the concepts down.
As Aaron saying, you have a voice for radio. What's radio bites? Well, thank you so much, Jason, for hanging out. Thank you again for your service. And I'm so glad that we got some insight on the Cyber Warrior program here. This will be just up on our socials over on Facebook and YouTube. I believe I messed up Instagram going live before this. So anyway, it'll be on Facebook and YouTube. If you guys have any questions, we will see them after the show, whether it's for Jason or for us. We will be watching those. And LinkedIn, my apologies, LinkedIn as well. Thank you so much for spending some of your Friday with us. And I hope you're able to grab something from this, guys, from the viewers. And yes, thank you for everybody saying very helpful video. Yeah, Quizbot. Listen, you're onto something here, Jason. I love that.
And if anybody, later on sees this and they have questions, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn. I mean, don't stress. I will answer whatever questions you have.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. Yes, because I'm sure some people would love to hear from you directly. And there's your LinkedIn link again. All right, guys, have a wonderful, safe weekend. I don't think the weather's going to be too bad here in the state of North Carolina, so that should be nice. Jason, if you don't mind hanging out for a little bit while I end the live, thank you guys again, and we will see you next Friday. Bye.